Mind one, what you think is what you create. This is also the tagline for my business because it's the most foundational concept for you to understand as you move into this work of creating happiness in your life. Every thought that you think generates an emotion. It's that simple. If you want the good emotions, you're going to think the good thoughts. And that's what this first Mind One section is going to be about for you. We have 9 different skills to look at. We're beginning with shifting your thoughts. For example, if you notice that you are maybe getting a sore throat, for example, and your normal mindset would be, oh my gosh, a sore throat, I just know it's going to get worse. I probably am going to get strep. Tomorrow I'll miss work. I'll be out for days, and then I'll have to pay the doctor bill as well. If that's the way you've been thinking, that's one of the big reasons you haven't been as happy as you'd like to be. So here's the shift. You stop and you notice, you pause and you take awareness of yourself, which is one of the things we talked about in the introduction, self-awareness, and you choose to shift your thoughts and rethink and reframe that thought. For example, if you notice you're getting a sore throat, the next thing you can think is, oh, I think I'll get some vitamin C. I'll take some natural supplements. I'll have an Advil. I'll sleep really well tonight, and then I'm going to feel fine tomorrow. I know this is going to be okay. So when you're choosing to shift your thought, the first 2 steps you want are to notice what you're thinking, how you're feeling, and how you're behaving based on the thought that you're having. And then from there, you want to pause, take a deep breath, which automatically slows you down and gives you the space to consider what you want the thought to be instead. What's going to move you into a place of happiness versus a place of feeling unhappy, tense, and anxious. So those 2 things work together. Pausing, breathing, releasing the tension in your jaw and your shoulders, letting go and allowing ease in your body, and now you can think a new thought. Those 2 things, 1, 2 put together, are going to take you through the next skills that we're going to learn. So now you're pausing and noticing, you're choosing new thoughts, and we're going to look more carefully with the next skill at changing your words. Consider the following example about the throat. Again, the words were the key to making the change for you. They were the part that made you shift from feeling fear and anxiety and maybe getting small in your body, because that's what we do when we feel emotions that don't feel good, to sitting up taller, pausing, and changing and choosing different words. So that's what you want to do when you're in this skill about changing your words. You choose the thoughts you have, so make sure that you're picking the good ones. Moving into more specific practice around this one is called Think 3 Things. When you are in any given environment, say you're driving down the street in your car, and people are cutting you off in traffic, or maybe you're going a little slower than you thought you would. You're concerned you might be late. Now you're starting to tighten up. You're not feeling very happy. And I'm going to invite you to use your 5 senses and think 3 different things. Use the senses to notice what's around me right now that feels good to me. I like this beautiful tree I see as I'm sitting here in the middle of the road waiting for the traffic to move. It's springtime. Look at those beautiful flowers on that tree. I love the sound of the bird that I hear, and I love the warmth of the sun coming through the window on my arms as I sit here in traffic. I'm okay. Now you have replaced the negative thoughts with the positive thoughts. You've done this by using your 5 senses, and you chose to think 3 new things. 3s will always bring change for you more easily. Do your happiness skills and practices in groups of 3. Now, if you feel like you just simply can't make that shift to positivity in this moment, maybe you're really too upset about something that's happened, a phone call you've gotten, an email you received. If you just really need to vent and download, then I'm going to invite you to set your phone timer, 3, 5, maybe 10 minutes, how many do you need, and just let it go. You can sit there alone in your office and vent and rant. You can get up and walk around. You can go outside and run fast, whatever you need to do to let out that emotion. But the point of this is you're going to limit it. You're in control of it. You're in charge. It's not taking you over. Now, at this point, I want to say this to you. If you normally pick up your phone and have someone that you call when you're upset and you want to download to your friend or your family member, I'm going to ask you to pause and think about that. Whatever isn't feeling very good to you, if you just dump it out on somebody else, how's that going to be for them? At the very least, I want you to make that call. And before you start talking to the person, say, I'm kind of upset about some stuff. Is it okay with you? And get their permission to share this. So then they get to have a voice in whether or not you share this difficult stuff with them and dump it out on them. Okay, so the thing that I want to bring to mind to you here is you need to be responsible for the energy you bring to any other situation. That's something that will make everybody happier around you, but especially you. And that's what we're working on right now. Another way to show up for yourself, another skill, is writing your personal support mantra. So for me, this one happens to be, I'm okay. And it has been for a long time. An example I will use is one day I was getting out of my car. I was just a little bit late for a meeting, all dressed up, had a bag on my shoulder, and wasn't aware there was some black ice in the driveway. So off I go, and pretty quickly my feet are going out from underneath me. And my first default thought, because I'd worked on it long enough, was, I'm okay. I knew I was going down, and my thought all the way down to the ground was, I'm okay. And even as I got up gingerly and carefully, my knee was a little sore, and I knew there was ice there now. I was continuing to think the thought, I am okay. Look in the book, and you'll see on this page that there are many suggestions for you. It could be, that went well. I know this will work. One day at a time is a great one. Or just do the next right thing. Which ones resonate for you? And maybe you have one you're already using. Or maybe you've got another one that comes to mind. Go ahead and take a pause here on the next sheet and use these lines to fill in the personal support mantras you'd like to use. Maybe you've got one, maybe you've got several. And then once you've done that, it's time to get the Post-it notepads out. Go ahead and write them on your Post-it notes. Put them places you'll see them easily, as we've talked about, your bathroom mirror, the dashboard in your car, maybe your actual desktop at work. And start setting this in your mind, setting this in your thinking. So this is your default setting. Whenever something starts to tighten you up and you're just not feeling as good as you'd like to, go to your personal support mantra. I'm okay. I know this is okay. Things like that. What's it going to be for you? Hit the pause and go ahead and fill those lines out now. Now we're going to take this just the next step and broaden it a bit, and we're going to look at positive words and phrases, both. Example for you here is this. When I am waking in the middle of the night and I have a hard time getting back to sleep, I have a lot of positive words that just run through my mind, and I make sure that I start running the list. And it immediately brings more ease into my body. I start to let go. My mind is focused in a place of positivity and release, and I go back to sleep. And this is the way these words can work in our lives in so many ways. So I've given you examples here on these pages. I want you to pause again, go through here, circle the ones that really resonate for you. You like the sound of these words. You like how you feel when you read it. Isn't that the point? And I want you to make a list of the ones that work for you. And have a list up in your environment. Start reading these words frequently, and you'll be rewiring your brain and your thought mechanisms for your default settings of where you're going to take your mind. So you want this list. You also want to think about phrases that work for you. One of my favorites is, let it be easy. Take the good, leave the rest. All things are possible. And how about you? Do you have some favorite phrases that would be perfect for you to go to in those moments when you start to notice you're tightening? Maybe you're getting anxious, fearful, sad, even angry. This is why we spend so much time practicing the thoughts, putting them up in the environment around us where we see them frequently, so we start to change the wiring in our brains. You've got some lines here. Why don't you pause again and fill those out? And once again, after you do, go to your Post-it notepad, and how about we also put these as reminders in your phone? Take some time here with this one. You can hit that pause on the video. Think about which of these words you want to choose, which of the phrases you'd like to choose, and where you want to put them so they become part of your normal way of thinking. Daily affirmation cards are just this incredible tool. If you Google daily affirmation cards, you're going to end up on Amazon. There are a lot of different choices there of wonderful card decks. You can go to Hay House Publishing. Again, they have many wonderful choices as well. Anything from cards with fairies, cards with angels, simply cards with words and beautiful pictures. You find the ones that work for you. And here's how I recommend you use these in your life. Every morning, you're going to start some new practices, which we'll design as we go forward here in the course. And one of the things you can be doing when you awaken in the morning is to draw a card and see what it says. For example, maybe it'll say, this is going to be a beautiful day for you. Or maybe it'll say, you're really doing a good job. Maybe it'll be a message from an angel if that's your particular way of thinking about life. Go ahead and look up daily affirmation card decks and see what you might find that would be the perfect deck for you to keep in your life to help bring more positivity and more beautiful visualization into you creating every day. Hitting the refresh button is the next skill. And this is when you've really just had enough of whatever it is and you're drying up, your energy is draining out, you just aren't as fresh as you want to be. Maybe you've been sitting at your desk too long, you've been doing something that's difficult or draining too long, and you simply need to pause. So what is it for you that refreshes you? If you've got an hour, can you go for a drive? Can you go for a hike? If I can take the rest of the afternoon. What is it for you? Is it curling up with a book? Is it watching a movie? What's the relaxation mode for you? Maybe it's a yoga class. I want you to have awareness again. This is just simply about your self-awareness. Be aware when you need to refresh. And that usually means we need to completely change the way we're thinking and the stimulation around us. We need to completely change it up. New paradigm, new focus, hit the refresh button. What are those things for you? Again, you've got a place here to write down some of your answers. Go ahead and read through those pages, fill out the lines if you'd like to, and then come back. Okay, humor and laughter, right? Just smiling alone just changes the game, let alone laughing. Because when we laugh, we release dopamine in our brain, and our brain chemicals are everything in controlling our happiness. So what we put into the brain puts out and supports the things that we want to feel. So humor and laughter are so important. Check in with yourself and think about what makes you laugh. What do you think is funny? Who are the people that you get to be with, that you can choose to be with, that you're always laughing together, you're always having a good time together. You really are in joy when you're together. Maybe you want to subscribe to some podcasts that are funny. Maybe you still like to read the comics. What is it for you? Old movies that make you laugh? Make sure that you're hanging out with laughter, hanging out with smiles, hanging out with people that share that space with you and you enjoy doing those things together. This will be so key to you supporting and shifting yourself into a happy way of being in your life. So those are our beginning skills, the first 9 skills for Mind 1, and now we come to the summary. Let's take a look. You've got 9 options here of things you might want to check. Did you check some things already as you were going through the body of Mind 1? Do you want to bring those check marks forward? Shifting your thoughts, you're going to do that. The 1-2 practice, being aware, releasing, breathing in. You're going to change your words. You're going to stop and think about, how do I word that in a positive way so I can see a picture of something better? How about thinking 3 things and using your 5 senses to notice the good things around you? This is a choice. You want to notice the things that aren't so good, or you want to notice the things that are good? Think 3 things. Set your phone timer if you just need to download and let things out that are just not feeling too good inside of you. If it's the only way to do it, say okay to a few minutes of doing that and then stop and move on. Write your personal support mantra. Maybe positive words and phrases to see in lists hanging around in your environment so that you're reading them repeatedly and starting to put new data in your brain. Hit that refresh button when you need to recharge. And make sure you're having fun and laughing. Whatever you checked here, would you like to create reminders for any of these? I'll see you at Mind 2. Good job.